Hello everyone, I'm Colin Knecht. Today I've got a few quick tricks to show you, and some of them I've been using for years and years. I just keep forgetting to tell you about them, so stick around, let me show you what I've got. Here's a quick trick that I use for mixing shellac. Now some of you may be using shellac, and if you're not familiar with it, it basically comes as these little flakes like this. And you need to mix it with alcohol. This isn't the alcohol that I use, but I'm just putting this here to show you that you do need to mix it. And of course, you need to have quantities of each one. And rather than look around for a mixing container or a measuring container, because you have to measure the shellac by weight, then the alcohol by volume. I just set it up and put it on this little disposable little plastic container, and every time I need to mix some up, I just mix it up. I put the shellac in a glass jar, and then I pour the alcohol up to the level that I need, pour that in, and then you need to mix it. I usually leave mine overnight before it's mixed, and then it's ready to use. But for storage, I just put it right in the shellac bag like that, and whenever I need to mix this up, because the mixture's only good for about 3 months at a time, everything's all there ready to go for me. Let's talk about glues for a moment now, and this is not an ad for Titebond. I just happen to use the glue and I like it, and I've been using it for years and years, so that's why it's here. But it's not about glue today. What I'm talking about, for those of you who've been following my channel for years, you'll know that I use these little mustard containers, and I really like this container because sometimes this one here gets clogged. It's hard to clean. So I often use this, but very often the little hole in the top is not big enough. But look here's what I just discovered. This is pretty interesting. You see this lid here, and this lid, and this lid. This is an empty, what is it, a maple syrup container. Look at this. This is an old Miracle Whip bottle. But check this out. Now all of these bottles, see that? Has a slot lid in it. Look at this one here. This is from the maple syrup. Look at the lid there. Look at the hole in that one. It's different compared to this one. Now, here's what's really cool. There's all sorts of containers like this, but look at this. When I take the lid off my bulk one, which also happens to be the same lid as this, I can actually take this and put it on there. And now I have that container on a big jar like this. But look here's what's really cool. If I want to pour just a certain amount out of here, I can actually use that lid. Works on all of these. Look at it, works on all of these. I can use this lid on this one or this one. But look for spreading more glue, this one even works on the big one. So if I'm doing a big glue up, now I haven't opened this glue thing yet, so it's a little tight getting on there, but if I want to do a big glue up, and I don't want to use one of these other little tiny holes, I could use that on there, or I could put it on the intermediary size. I couldn't believe that all of these lids all work. They're all interchangeable like this. So you'll get good at spotting all of these interchangeable lids, because now you could put anything on any of these and be able to swap these lids back and forth and dispense the amount of glue that you want, rather than being stuck with one kind of dispenser. This is just a laminate or arborite material from my local countertop making shop, and I get this stuff once in a blue moon because it lasts me a long time, but I just found another use for it, and that is mixing epoxy glues. And you know, when I'm mixing small amounts like this, I don't want to get any sawdust or wood chips in, because it's usually a very small amount of glue that I need. And these things are perfect because they're nice and clean and flat. You can use both sides if you want, and it's just a quick, easy way. You can cut this stuff with utility knives. It breaks sort of just like glass. You can cut it with tin snips, or if you've got some old scissors. Very easy to use, and just another way of getting even more use out of another product in your workshop. I'm over at my sliding miter for a moment, and I'm not here to show you the handy little flip-up extension that I made a couple of months ago. What I'm here to show you is where I'm storing my tape. Now, when I'm at the sliding miter, I often need to measure things, and if you follow my channel, you'll know that I use magnets on the back of my clips. I have one at the table saw, one at my workbench, and they all read exactly the same thing because they're all identical tapes. And now I just put a metal strip on the edge of the deck of my sliding miter, and now my tape goes on there. It's out of the dust, it's out of the way. I know exactly where it is, and it's just a handy way of storing a tape right at your miter station. Here I am at my table saw, and there's the flip-up extension table that I made a few months ago. And this is the handiest thing. I can't believe how much use I get out of this. But I have a bit of a problem, and that is when I installed it, this plywood was straight and flat, but now the two ends of it lift up a tiny bit. And I think that's because it's so dry in here right now because it's summer. I think in the fall and winter it will go back flat again. But look, when you're running wood through, what happens is if it's a wide piece, it blocks here. The rest of it is fine, but at the very ends, the wood can block. Now, it's not a problem unless the wood is sort of this wide, but here's what I did to solve that problem. So here's the fence. I'm going to flip the outfeed table, flip that up again. And what I wanted you to see was this black bar that runs all the way the length of my table saw, and it's what the fence rides on. This end of the fence is what it rides on. And of course, this wants to be below. Now what I've done is here, because I can't show you underneath here, so this is sort of the edge. So this is where the fence would ride on here, but underneath I've put one of these sliding locking mechanisms that moves like that. So what happens is now this will slide underneath the fence, or underneath this where this bracket is here on the fence, slides underneath, and you can see how that's still high like that. Let me move that up there. There it is there. So that would slide underneath like that, but it's still high. So I have these little wedges that I've made, and they're just sort of, you can see the angle. And all I need to do is just push down on this, and then as I slide it along, it will come so that it's even. Actually, it's even with the top of the table here. So let me just show you what that looks like. I'm going to see if I can give you a live demo of it. So there's that little locking mechanism right on the end of the outfeed table. So I'm just going to flip it up now. And now I need to push that out. You can see the little locking mechanism going out. And now, because it won't fit, so I'm just going to push it down, just a little bit of pressure, and put a wedge under there like that. And now, there's the clearance, just what I need. Just that easy. Then to take it out, you just take the little wedge out like that, move that back down, and drop the outfeed table back down. Well, that concludes my video for today. Just a few ideas that I use in my workshop that I think you might find useful too. I'm Colin for WoodWorkWeb. Thanks for watching.